In this video, I'm going to talk about how it's possible to put mesh in the intakes here, so you don't sort of lose the OEM look, because there are aftermarket products which put a mesh out here so you don't get leaves and that sort of stuff down the intakes. I'd prefer to keep the OEM look, so I'll show you how I have done that. It requires a little bit more effort because you're going to have to remove the door entry guard, which is the panel that sits out here. Have a look at the video that I made on that. But after that, it's pretty simple once you get the panel off to remove this, get access to behind here and put some mesh down here, the bottom one here, which goes to the engine bay fan, and the top one, which goes to the rear entry point at the back, which goes to the engine intakes. What I'm using as my mesh is this stuff. It's an aluminium sort of cross mesh. That the size of the holes are 3 by 6 millimeters. This is advertised as stuff that you would use in the auto industry for intakes and that sort of stuff, and it works really, really well. It's quite flexible and soft, really easy to cut. So it's pretty easy to make it the shape that you need to. Once you remove the intake, the way this fits together, there's a number of bits that all slot together, and this bit here, which is the one that goes into the engine intake, that's just a separate piece that just pops straight out. So we just need to open this up, not a whole bunch. And the way we're going to do that is there's a piece of foam along here, initially just cut along there, and then we're going to use a screwdriver and just pop open these 3 clips there. And once it's open like that, I'm just going to get a bit of timber, shove that in there, and then I can just get this and just push it out. And because it's a bit of a funny shape, I find with that piece of timber there, if you have it back in between these last 2 clips, this will come out and then it'll slide out that hole there. Have a bit of a practice of how you're going to put that back in again, because it can sort of get jammed in there a little bit. And then once that's out, all we need to do is make our piece of mesh that size. So all I've done is I've cut out a piece and I just use that as a template. And I've just made that the same size like that. Where the thing is going to go, you can see there's a slot there, which is relatively wide compared to the ridge on that would fit into that. So what I've done is you can either just fit the mesh, or because this is only 1 millimeter wide, it was quite able to put this in and then put this behind it to hold it more firmly in place, because this stuff's pretty flexible. Entirely up to you if you want to do this, but that's the way I would do it. I don't think it's going to restrict the airflow too much. And then once you're happy it's in the right spot, then you can just clip it closed. Before you close it up, just check everything's in those slots nicely. That one wasn't, so just make sure push it forward into it. There we go. And then we can just clip it closed. For this one here, for the engine bay fan, there's a groove that runs around here, and because of this wedge shape here, I'm actually able to sort of oversize this so it slots in here, this piece that I've cut out, so it slots down here and around there, and because it's a wedge shape, it can't move that way and come on out. And then we're just going to put the intake over the top of it, and that will just hold it in place. I used the intake itself as a template, so I just sort of laid the piece of mesh over the top of the template so I got the shape, and then just gradually clipped it out. and that just holds that nicely in place, and then that's not going to come out.